property today. In previous sessions, we have studied how to obtain the discrete Fourier transform of a non-periodic discrete time signal which is of finite duration. Now let us concentrate on its properties from today onwards. So today we shall see the symmetry properties. Suppose that if x of n is a purely real sequence, then its DFT x of k is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k. Or alternatively, we can also say that complex conjugate of x of k is equal to x of n minus k. It's capital N, the length of the DFT. Now by definition of DFT, to prove this property, let us start with the definition of DFT. By definition of DFT, we shall write the DFT of x of n is equal to xk, which is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1, xn w raised to n k capital N, where k is taking on the values 0 to n minus 1. Now this w, the trivial factor, its value is equal to e raised to minus g2 pi by capital N. Now, taking the conjugate of both the sides of this expression, so let us take the conjugate of both sides of this equation so that we get the conjugate of this x of k and the conjugate of this whole expression. So let us rewrite this expression as the conjugate of x of k is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn w raised to n k n and its conjugate. Now the conjugate of this bracket indicate that there are two terms, the conjugate of xn and the conjugate of w raised to nk. Now xn, as we said, that it is given that it is purely real. So since it is purely real, the conjugate of xn is xn itself and the conjugate of w raised to nk is w raised to minus nk. Exponential term w, it is e raised to minus j2 pi by capital N. So its conjugate will be e raised to plus j2 pi by capital N. So I shall write this w raised to nk as w raised to minus nkn, which is the conjugate. Now let me add here one more term, that is w capital N into small n. Now the value of w capital N into small n, it's approximately equal to 1. It's equal to 1. That we have seen it in the previous class. This is equal to 1. So we are adding this, for 1 we are adding this extra term. Why we are adding this? Since this w is minus nk here power, to make this as positive, what I will do is, I will take common n from this both of the term. So when we combine the powers of this w and this w together, we shall write this as w raised to capital N minus k into n. Now if you compare this equation with the equation of the DFT, I can say that this is the IDFT. If you consider the term DFT of xn, if it is x of k, since here it is capital N minus k, this is nothing but capital X of n minus k. So I shall write this as conjugate of x of k is equal to capital X of n minus k. Now what this indicate? Conjugate of xk is equal to capital X of n minus k. So for real sequence, we say that conjugate of xk is equal to x of n minus k. We can also alternately prove that this conjugate of xk is equal to x of n minus k. So we have to start accordingly if we want to prove. Right now I have proved it for x of k is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k. So what this indicate, this expression? Only the first n by 2 points of DFT are necessary and that are independent, and the rest can be obtained from the first n by 2 points of the DFT. So this is illustrated as below. So x0 to x of n by 2, this points it is necessary to obtain, they are independent. Once you obtain this, then the rest of the term you can obtain from the previous term with respect to this expression. This expression says that x of k is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k. So for example, if suppose k is equal to 1, and then x of 1 is equal to conjugate of x of n minus 1. So x1 and x of n minus 1, they are conjugate pairs of each other. So if you are substituting k is equal to n by 2 minus 1, then you will get here, it is, if you substitute in this equation, k is equal to n by 2 minus 1, when you substitute k is equal to n by 2 minus 1, you will get it as capital X of n by 2 plus 1. So that indicate that this x of n by 2 minus 1 and x of n by 2 plus 1, they are conjugate of each other. x1 is conjugate of x of n minus 1 and x2 is conjugate of x of n minus 2. So these are, they appears, all these points in between, they appear in terms of the conjugate pairs. So it is essential that you should obtain only the first, these points from 0 to n by 2, and the rest terms you can obtain from the previous by simply taking the conjugate of the previous terms. The succeeding terms you obtain it by taking the conjugate of the previous terms. This is how you should obtain. Now for example, consider for the value of capital N where it is equal to 8. At that time you will be having total 0 to 7, 8 points. So x0 to x3, it is required that you should compute, x4 you should compute, and according to expression x3 and x5, they are conjugate pairs of each other. x2 and x6, they are conjugate pairs of each other. x1 and x7, they are conjugate pairs of each other. So 0 to n by 2 you need to compute, and the rest n by 2 minus 1, n by 2 minus 1 terms, you can obtain it from the previous n by 2 minus 1 points by simply taking the conjugate pairs. So if this x4, if it is at center, then for this nearby to x4, one these preceding and the succeeding terms, they are conjugate of each other. Likewise, you can obtain the conjugate pairs.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
I hope that you have got this. As per this expression, it is not necessary to evaluate all the 8 points of the DFT. If you find the 4 points, 0 to 4 points of the DFT, the remaining points you can easily compute from the previous, because they will always appear in conjugate pairs. This is if the sequence x of n is real, if it is purely real. Now let us consider an example here where x of k be the 14-point DFT of a real sequence xn, and the first 8 samples of xk are given, that is x0 to x7. The 8 samples are given here. x0 is equal to 12, x1 is minus 1 plus j3, x2 is equal to 3 plus j4, x3 is equal to minus 1 plus j5, x4 is equal to minus 2 plus j2, x5 is equal to 6 plus j3, x6 is equal to minus 2 minus j3, and x7 is 10. Now we need to determine the remaining samples of xk by using the symmetry property. Also by using the observation of the DFT expression, you can also evaluate the x0 and x7 without computing the IDFT. By just observing the expression of IDFT, you need to compute the values of x0, x7 and the summation value, where summation is varying from 0 to 13xn. Now let us first evaluate the remaining 6 samples of this DFT sequence. For the remaining 6 samples to obtain, let us use the symmetry property for real sequence. So x1 and which one there appears in conjugate pair, x1 and capital N is 14. So in this expression, if I substitute 14, then x1 and x13, they are conjugate of each other. So from x1 I can obtain x13. From x6 I can obtain x8 likewise. Okay. So x8 is equal to conjugate of x6. x6 is minus 2 minus j3. So conjugate of x6, that is x8, is equal to minus 2 plus j3. Now x9 is equal to the conjugate of x5. x5 is given here, that is 6 plus j3. So the conjugate of this is 6 minus j3. So x9 therefore is equal to 6 minus j3. x10 is equal to conjugate of x4. 14 minus 10 is x4. So x4 is minus 2 plus j2. So x10, which is the conjugate of this x4, is minus 2 minus j2. x11 is the conjugate similarly of x3. Conjugate of x3, in a similar fashion we do it here. The conjugate of x3 and the conjugate of this x3 is minus 1 minus j5. So this x11 is minus 1 minus j5. Now for x12, it is the conjugate of x2, and x2 is 3 plus j4, and its conjugate then therefore will be 3 minus j4. So x12 is 3 minus j4. Now the last term, that is x13, which is a conjugate of x1, and x1 is minus 1 plus j3. Therefore the conjugate of x1 is minus 1 minus j3, which is x of 13. So we have obtained the all remaining 6 samples here. We have now from x0 to x13 all the 13 DFT points. But without using the IDFT equation, we shall evaluate x0, x7 and summation n from 0 to 13 xn. Now, by definition of IDFT, we have the DFT expression xn is equal to 1 by capital N summation k from 0 to n minus 1 xk e raised to j 2 pi nk by n. Now, we need to evaluate x0. So, if I substitute n is equal to 0 in this equation, then it is x0 is equal to 1 by 14 summation k from 0 to 13 xk. x0 is equal to 1 by 14 summation k from 0 to 13 xk. So we need to add all the samples of xk from 0 to 13. So if you add all the samples, so since these samples they appear in conjugate pairs, these imaginary terms will get cancelled. So you can add all the real terms together and then divide it by 14. You can make use of the calculators to perform the addition of all the real terms and then divide by 14. You can take pause for a while and then add all the real points together and then divide by 14. I hope that you have done it. So if you add all the real points, it is 28, and when you divide it by 14, x0 is equal to 2. Now in a similar fashion, if I want to find x7, x7 is equal to 1 by 14 summation k from 0 to 13 x of k into minus 1 raised to k. Now why this is minus 1 raised to k? Now when I substitute n is equal to 7 here, this capital N is 14, and therefore you will remain with e raised to minus j 2 pi k. Now e raised to not 2, e raised to minus j pi k. E raised to minus j pi k's value is minus 1 raised to k. So e raised to j pi k is depending upon k. If it is even, it is positive, and if it is odd, the value of e raised to minus j pi k is negative. So it is minus 1 raised to k. Therefore, it is minus 1 raised to k. Since that is, we have to alternatively add and subtract the points of x of k. So this is what is done here. This is x0. You have to subtract x of 1, add x2, subtract x3, add x4, subtract x5, add x6, subtract x7, add x8, subtract x9, add x10, subtract x11, add x12 and subtract x13. And now you perform the addition of all this, and you will observe that again all the imaginary terms, they will cancel with each other, and you will get a real term if you add all the real points, and you will get minus 8 divided by 14. Okay. X7 is equal to minus 8 by 14. Similarly, using the DFT equation, we can compute this summation value, which is n varying from 0 to 13 xn. In the DFT equation, if you substitute k is equal to 0, you will get this summation expression in the DFT equation. So, summation n from 0 to 13 xn is nothing but x of 0. And given that x of 0 is equal to 12, so the value of this summation, the summation n from 0 to 13 xn is equal to x0. This is obtained by substituting k is equal to 0 in the DFT equation. So the twiddle factor term is become 1. So the value of the summation expression is equal to capital X0, and capital X0 is given, which is 12. Therefore, the value of the summation is equal to 12. Now this is another example where a 498 point DFT of a real sequence xn has the following DFT samples given as, not all the points are given here, there are few of the points are given here, and it is asked to find out the few points from that. X0 is equal to 2, X11 is equal to 7 plus J3, 3.1, Xk1 is equal to minus 2.2, minus J 1.5, X 112 is equal to 3 plus J 0.7, Xk2 is equal to minus 4.7 plus J 1.9, X249 is equal to 2.9, X309 is equal to minus 4.7 minus J 1.9, Xk3 is equal to 3 minus J 0.7, X412 is equal to minus 2.2 plus J 1.5, and Xk4 is equal to 7 minus J 3.1. It is given. Now it is asked that the other samples, the remaining samples, have a 0 value. Then you need to find the value of K1, K2, K3 and K4 in this from the property of DFT, that is symmetry property. So these points of K1, K2, K3, K4 you need to find out. Other than these points, if at all any points are there, the value of their points is equal to 0. Now you observe this carefully here. Xk1 is given here. In this equation, first as per the symmetry property, xk is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k, with capital N is equal to 498. So, according to the property, symmetry property, to find out k1, so k1 is equal to capital N minus k. So, capital N is 498. And you observe that these two, they are conjugate pairs of each other, that is 412 points and xk1. They are conjugate of each other, so 498 minus 412 is equal to 86, that is k1 is equal to 86. In a similar fashion, you need to find out k2. Now see where this is conjugate of what? The xk2 is conjugate of x309, therefore K2 is equal to 498 minus 309, therefore it is equal to 188. Similarly, K3 is equal to, this is conjugate of 112, x of 112. So K3 is equal to 498 minus 112, so it's equal to 386. And similarly, K4 is 498 minus 11, so it is equal to 487. Sorry. Now continuing with the property of DFT, symmetry properties. DFT of x of n, which is equal to x of k, is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn e raised to minus j 2 pi n k by n. Now this exponential term, I can write it in the trigonometric form as x of k is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn cos of 2 pi nk by n minus j sin 2 pi nk by n. The exponential is replaced with replaced with its trigonometric form in this expression and written x of k. Now if I split this expression, what we observe is this expression can be rewritten as summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn into cos 2 pi nk by n minus j into summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn sin 2 pi nk by capital N. Now you observe that if this entire expression is xk, then this is the real part of xk and this is the imaginary part of xk. Summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn sin 2 pi nk by n is the imaginary part of xk and this is the real part of xk. So I say that xk is equal to real part of xk minus j into imaginary part of xk. Now the second property, according to second property, that is symmetry properties, we are continuing with symmetry properties. If the sequence is real and even, then if x of n is real and even, then x of n is equal to x of capital N minus n. This for n varying from 0 to n minus 1. I think this expression I have written in a wrong way. This should be n which is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Then its DFT is real and it is reduced to x of k is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn cos 2 pi nk by n, where k is varying from 0 to n minus 1. What this property is saying, if x of n is real and even, then is DFT is also real and it is reduces to this term, that is it is only the real part of xk. When x of n is real, at that time x of n is equal to x of capital N minus n. Now what is this meaning of x of n is equal to x of capital N minus n? So when a sequence is even, at that time we say that x of n is equal to x of minus n for even sequences. But here, since a sequence is periodically extended for the period of capital N, then we can also write this as x of n is equal to x of capital N minus n. Say that it is circularly periodic. X of n is equal to x of capital N minus n. Now recall that if x of n is real and even, then xe of n, the even part of the signal, we can express it in the form of 1 by 2 x of n plus x of minus n. Now by definition of DFT of xn, we write it is equal to xk and it is summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn into w raised to nkn, and DFT of x of minus n over the period n is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 x of minus n over the modulo n w raised to nkn. So x of minus n over the modulo n. So the meaning of this sign is modulus. So if the index, if it is negative, then you can replace it with n minus n. This is the modulo. So it is divided by n and the positive value is taken, the remainder of it. The DFT of x of minus n over the modulo n is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1. So when we say that it is modulo n, x of capital N minus n, this is replaced with minus n will be always replaced with capital N minus n into w raised to nk n. Now in this expression, let us substitute capital N minus n is equal to m. Now when I substitute here n minus n is equal to m, so if this small n, if it is equal to 0, then m will start with it is equal to capital N, and when small n, if it is n minus 1, then m will be equal to 1. So if in this expression, if you replace n with capital N minus 1, m you will get it is equal to 1. Therefore m will be varying from capital N to 1 xm into w raised to n minus m k n. Now this w raised to n k n, that is value of that is 1, and this twiddle factor and xm, they are both periodic with the period of n. So this is just an expression which is varying from 1 to n. This all the points it is considering is from 0 to n. So both this xm and this twiddle factor, they are periodic with the period of n. So instead of varying it from n to 1, we can also vary it from 0 to n minus 1. So summation m from 0 to n minus 1, xm w raised to minus mkn. So if you observe this x of m, if it is real, I can also write this as the conjugate of this expression and making this as w raised to mk. Now m is a dummy variable, you can replace it with n. And so you can write this as n from 0 to n minus 1 xn w raised to nk and the conjugate of whole this. So the DFT of x of minus n over the modulo n is equal to conjugate of x of k. So, to continuing with, the DFT of the even part is equal to 1 by 2 the DFT of xn plus the DFT of x of minus n over the modulo n. Now, the DFT of xn is x of k and the DFT of x of minus n is conjugate of xk. Now, a real part of xk is xk is real part of xk minus j into imaginary part of xk, and the conjugate of xk is real part of xk plus j into imaginary part of xk. Now these imaginary parts will get cancelled and you will remain with the real part of xk. So DFT of xe of n, the one part of the signal, is real part of xk, which is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn cos 2 pi nk by capital N. So if the sequence is even, then its DFT will get it is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn cos 2 pi nk by n. Now similarly, if the sequence is real and odd, at that time, then x of n will be equal to minus of x of capital N minus n, where n is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Now again, this expression I have written it in a wrong way. This n which is varying from 0 to n minus 1. It is not 0 varies from n to n minus 1, but n varies from 0 to n minus 1. Then its DFT reduces to DFT of x0n is equal to 1 by 2 DFT of xn minus DFT of x of pi minus n over the modulo n. Then the DFT of xn is real this x of k, and the DFT of x of minus n over the modulo n is conjugate of xk. So this real part of xk minus imaginary part of xk, and then minus real part of xk, and then this the conjugate of xk is plus j into imaginary part of xk, and this minus sign you will again get here the minus of j imaginary part of xk. Now the real parts will get cancelled and you will get minus j into 2 times imaginary part of xk, that 2 and this 2 will get cancelled. So it will remain with minus j into imaginary part of x of k. So the DFT of an odd sequence, you will get it is equal to the minus j imaginary part of xk, which is summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn sine 2 pi nk by capital N. This is if the sequence, if it is real and odd. Now if the sequence is purely imaginary and even, so when it is purely imaginary, xn will be represented in the form of j into xi of n. Then the DFT of j xi of n can be written as summation n from 0 to n minus 1 j xi of n, and the trigonometric form of the exponential term is cos 2 pi nk by n minus j into sine 2 pi nk by n. If you split the expression, you will get j into summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xi n cos 2 pi nk by n plus summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xi n sin 2 pi nk by n. Now if you observe this closely, this j and j when you multiply, it is minus, and this minus sign you get here plus. Now, if you observe, now this is the imaginary part of this xi of k, and this is the real part of this xi of k. Now, this xi of k, I am using it to represent the DFT of the purely imaginary sequence. Okay. Now DFT of Jxi of minus n over the modulo n in a similar fashion will be equal to summation m from 0 to n minus 1 j into xi of m w raised to minus mk n you will get. And when you take the conjugate of this, you will get here minus sign and this plus. So you will get minus j xi of n w raised to nk and conjugate of it. So you will get minus of conjugate of xi of k. That is DFT of j xi of minus n over the modulo n. Now, if the sequence, if it is purely imaginary and even, at that time, then the DFT of the even imaginary sequence is equal to 1 by 2 DFT of the imaginary sequence plus the DFT of xi of minus n over the modulo n, the imaginary sequence j xi of minus n over the modulo n. The same expression here, the xn is replaced with j xi of n. Now when it is even, at that time it obeys the property of j xi of n is equal to j xi of minus n over the modulo n if it is even. So now the DFT of this is DFT of j xi of n minus the DFT of j xi of minus n over the modulo n. This is for odd sequence. For odd we write. Now in a similar fashion you can continue with and prove that the DFT of the even component j xi n is equal to 1 by 2 xi of k minus the conjugate of xi of k, and it will be equal to j imaginary part of xi of k. I expect that from this equations where we have obtained that the DFT of j xi of n, which is if it is equal to xi of k, and the DFT of j xi of minus n is minus xi of minus conjugate of xi of k. From this 2, substituting in this equation, this is xi of k, and then for even sequence minus j into conjugate of xi of k, and for odd sequence minus it becomes plus and conjugate of xi of k. Substitute in the equation and obtain the DFT of the even sequence. Okay. So when you substitute here xi of k and minus of xi conjugate of xi of k, you will get it, it is equal to j imaginary term, imaginary part of xi of k. How you get? I'll just illustrate here. So xi of k is real part of xi of k plus j imaginary part of xi of k minus the real part of xi of k minus j imaginary part of xi of k. The conjugate of xi of k is minus j imaginary part of xi of k. So this minus and this minus minus become plus. So real part of xi of k will get cancelled and you will remain with j into imaginary part of xi of k, which is summation n from 0 to n minus 1, summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn sine 2 pi nk by n. So I think the imaginary part is cos, and I have not written here that this, when the sequence is purely imaginary and odd, at that time x of k will be equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn into sine 2 pi nk by n, and that is, it is purely real you get, and it is real part of xi of k you get. Okay. Conjugate symmetry, if DFT of a conjugate sequence. Suppose the sequence x of n is a complex sequence, then the conjugate of xn is a complex conjugate of the sequence xn. Then the DFT of conjugate of x of n is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 conjugate of xn e raised to minus j 2 pi nk by n. Now if I take the conjugate of this entire bracket, so conjugate of xn and the conjugate of this is e raised to j 2 pi nk by n, this becomes the conjugate of this entire bracket. Now here if you observe, this is x of k. So you will get it is, this is not x of k, this you have to modify and write this as minus term and add a ln term extra. So this I can rewrite this exponential term as e raised to minus j 2 pi n minus k by n and the conjugate of this. Now this is x of n minus k. So it is conjugate of x of n minus k. So if you want this is to be xk, the negative sign you require here. Now for that we add a term here which is replaced k, this capital N into n term we add as an extra term. So when you add small n and capital N and n will get cancelled, e raised to j 2 pi n is always 1. So that extra term here we add e raised to minus j 2 pi n n, capital N n, that we add, w raised to n n n we add. And therefore you get here e raised to minus j 2 pi n and capital N minus k by n, and this bracket term is x of n minus k, and the conjugate of it is conjugate of x of n minus k. So if you know the DFT of xn, which is xk, then the DFT of the conjugate of it is conjugate of x of n minus k. This is what this property says. If you know the DFT of a sequence xn, and if x of n is a complex sequence, then the DFT of a conjugate of the sequence, that is conjugate of xn, is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k. This is what this property says. So you have to remember here that x of k has only k valid values, as k is varying from 0 to n minus 1. So k, if it is equal to 0, the conjugate of x becomes x of n minus 0, which is equal to conjugate of x of n. And x0 cannot become the conjugate of xn because it repeats after every interval of n. So there will be values of xk which are appears in conjugate pairs that are from 1 to n minus 1. Now suppose conjugate of xn is a complex conjugate sequence of xn, then the DFT of conjugate of x of minus n over the modulo n is conjugate of xk. Now to prove this property, let us make use of the IDFT expression. IDFT expression says that the IDFT of conjugate of xk is equal to 1 by n summation k from 0 to n minus 1 conjugate of xk e raised to j 2 pi nk by n. Now if I want to take the conjugate of this entire equation, then it becomes e raised to minus j 2 pi nk by n and conjugate of entire equation. Now let us add another e raised to j 2 pi capital Nk. So w raised to capital N k n term we are adding here. So this becomes e raised to j 2 pi capital N minus n k n. So now the term in this bracket, this is x of n capital N minus n, and the conjugate of it is x of conjugate of n minus n. So this indicate that the conjugate of x of minus n over the modulo n is equal to the conjugate of x of k. So to summarize these properties of DFT, conjugate of x of k is equal to x of n minus k with x0 and x of n by 2, the real terms. For real and even sequence, xk is equal to summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn cos 2 pi nk by n, where k also takes on the values from 0 to n minus 1. If the sequence is real and odd, at that time x of k is equal to minus j summation n from 0 to n minus 1 xn sin 2 pi nk by n, for k varying from 0 to n minus 1. If the sequence is purely imaginary and even, at that time the DFT is equal to j into summation, now this should be small n, from 0 to n minus 1 x of n cos of 2 pi nk by n. If the sequence is purely imaginary and odd, at that time it is summation small n from 0 to n minus 1 xi of n sin 2 pi nk by n. DFT of conjugate of x of n is equal to conjugate of x of n minus k. This is if the sequence is complex x of n. Similarly, if the sequence is complex at that time, the conjugate of x of minus n over the modulo n is equal to conjugate of x of n.